My newest holistic interior design program membership group is here. It is called the Design Coven, and this is for anyone that is looking to learn from real life experience in the interior design world, mainly focusing on holistic interior design. So we're incorporating a lot of the energy work that goes into interior design, mind, body, spirit situation. And this is for anyone that is thinking about going into the interior design world, a student of interior design, or somebody that is currently in the interior design space and looking to shift more into the holistic aspect of it. This is a program where we learn from real life interior designers. We get connected to industry professionals. We get introduced to vendors that are doing some really great things in the world, showrooms. It's just a beautiful way to get all of us in the realm of real life design. I know that I've spoken to a lot of students that are in school and they're just not getting the real life experience. So that's why this has been created for all of you. You can find out more information in the show notes below, along with the website bewitchingthehome.com. If you go into the menu, you'll find the membership link in there. As part of that program, we have a panelist of designers that come on every month to share their experiences, their failures, and successes. And this month, we are featuring Alicia, who was on earlier a couple weeks back. We had Nate on, and today we have Heather Schmitt. And Heather is going to share with us her origin story, how she got into the design world. She also gives us some information on some misconceptions of the design world, which is really fun to get into. And here's a little bit about Heather. Heather has been designing interior spaces for over 18 years, specializing in high-end residential remodels and ground ups, as well as occasional commercial spaces. Her unorthodox approach to design has garnered loyal clients, press and design awards, individually and collaboration with clients to make sure their vision comes to life as a main driver behind her success. Heather is known to push the envelope and experiment with new textures, patterns, and unexpected materials to bring life one-of-a-kind spaces for each project and a truly unique product. So here is Heather. And again, the panelist will happen on June 10th at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. All of our teachings are recorded. So if you miss it, you can always go back and hit the replay. You're listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. This is a podcast that guides you as a new or inspiring independent interior designer navigating your entrepreneurial path. Here, with my over 20 years experience, I will share my holistic approach to design with intention and ancient practices, including feng shui, all incorporating mind, body, and spirit into my design projects. You will also learn from seasoned interior designers as they give strategies and insight of how they built their businesses and continue to work in the field. Together, we will discover supportive trade partners, new ideas, creatives, and inspiring artists from around the world. I am your host, Rachel Lorraine Crawford. Hi, we have Heather today. I'm so excited to have Heather. She's an interior designer, and we're going to get into some good, juicy stuff about the design business. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and open up our space, ring our bell, connect us into the present moment, and then, of course, lighting our candle. So for me, the element of fire is so important just because that really represents creativity. It represents that inner flame, that drive that we have, and just, the spirit of fire to me is just so magical. So I've got a candle, and I love creating ritual with candle. So really setting the intention and setting space for me is really important. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull a card. So I've got Moon BB Magic Tarot from Angela Mary Magic. We're going to pull a card today, Heather, just to kind of see what we might need to know for our session. Oh my goodness. 7 of Waves. This is the 7 of Waves, and this is abundance is the card, which is so, so, so incredible. And the 7 of Waves corresponds, it's really the 7 of Cups, which is all about opportunity and doorways opening and different ways of going about things. So for me, whenever I get this card, it's like, okay, we've got all these doors that are open. It's like, which one do we want to explore and receive? So there's opportunity abundant out for us for sure.
Yay. Nice.
Woohoo.
And aren't we out of Rachel,
And
aren't we out of retrograde today too?
yeah.
Which makes it even more yeah, oh, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay. The gates
Thank
are
God.
open. We can move forward. Exactly. So Heather, I'm curious as to what you're nourishing yourself with.
I'm nourishing myself with actually black coffee.
Mm, just
So
straight up black coffee, huh?
black coffee in a cup though, that means a lot to me because my oldest daughter went off to college and I said, you can go anywhere in the world you want to go. And she said, I want to hike the national parks. So this one is from the Grand Tetons. We did a 10-day trip last summer and hiked like 57 miles. And it was
Oh
just
my
a wonderful
God.
bonding experience. So I'm being nourished by coffee and then her, my little cutie up
Oh,
in
that's
college.
amazing.
Yeah.
What a proud moment. That's so rad. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, super, super cool. So are you a coffee person every morning?
I am. Yeah, I am. And it's I used to put a lot in it and now it's kind of weird. It's like it's just this nice, I just make it in a little teeny pot. It's with a filter, it's a drip kind, and I just sit and kind of relax. I don't jump into my day super fast anymore.
Yeah.
I find that kind of energizes me and I like that kind of, sometimes I'll go outside and have coffee. Sometimes I'll just sit on the couch and just kind of take some time as opposed to just jumping out, getting in the car and taking my kids and all of that. It's just, I like this kind of slow-mo pace. And I find it kind of charges me a little bit more for the day.
That sounds delightful. I'm going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Take it slow.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's better. It is for me. I kind of just get my groundings because I just get a little bit more in my head and,
Yeah,
so I like it.
for sure. For sure. Yeah, so I've got a Paru tea. Of course, I've always got Paru. I'm drinking the Thai Earl Grey, and it just smells so delightful. And I didn't, I only, steep it? I only had it in there for maybe 2 minutes, and it's already super strong. It's just like, it's so delightful. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is heaven right now.
Yeah, I need to switch to tea. I keep thinking that's like on my list to do, but I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
hard.
I'm still
I mean,
coffee girl.
I still, yeah, I do coffee first, and then I'll switch over to tea like later on as my second.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. I like chai
Mhm.
tea a lot. Like I do. I like it. It's just, I don't know. I've just been a coffee girl, so
Yeah.
who knows? Now we're out of retrograde. Who knows what I'll pull off today later?
We might be doing something different.
You never know. You never know.
Oh my God. So I just wanted to share with everybody how we met, because we met on a business trip to Napa, and that was just super fun and exciting. And I feel like we connected right away, and there was like an instant.
You
Yeah.
always have the cutest outfits. So, okay, this is a little thing. So,
Okay.
because I love clothes, right? And I'm not like a clothes like I don't need to go to the nicest place like I do, but I will go thrifting all the time. Like this is from the thrift store. Like I just love it, right? So
Yeah.
you walked in and I'm like, okay, like oh, all right. You just have the best style. Like I love it so
Aw.
much. So if I haven't told you that, I'm sure I have, but
You're so
I love the
sweet.
way you put yourself together. And then I see you down, Jen is my girl down,
Oh,
at
yeah.
Perch, right?
Yeah.
And I saw you there, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, and you still
That's
look
right.
cute. I'm like, does she ever not look put together? Like, no. So I
Aw.
love that.
I could say the same about you. Yeah, with your dress and everything. It's just, I love it.
We like to get dressed. Yeah, we do. We both know
We
we
do.
do. So, but thank you for noticing.
Of course. And I always feel like, there's some outfits that I'll wear that my husband's just like, oh my God. I'm just like, it's not for you. It's like, this is mine.
Exactly. That's so funny. So I used to say, you know what, when I was buying clothes, or I'll talk to my daughters or my mom or whoever, and I'll just say, "But I have to look cute for work." It's like, my budget has to be bigger. I can't look ugly when I go to work.
You're so funny.
So, yeah, it's a nice little perk of this job if anyone wants to know. Like, you do get to justify your spending habits if you have a clothes
Yeah,
problem.
and I
So,
will tell you a little secret. I actually rent most of all my clothes. I use Rent the Runway.
I love tidbits like this. That's so good.
Yeah,
Oh
because
my
I
gosh,
get
okay,
tired of
I'm
stuff.
gonna look into it.
Yeah, you should.
It's
I get
just
tired of stuff all the time.
so I get tired. Oh God, this is so great. Okay, so I'm on the thrift store circuit. It's an addiction, right? I will
Yeah,
get tired of stuff and then I'll take a big bag and I'll go to, there's like 3 in Encinitas that I'll go to. There's one kind of down in Hillcrest. And I will go with my big bag and then they say, "Do you want cash?" I'm like, "No, no, 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 credit, credit."
yeah,
And so they'll give you more for the credit and then I just get more. And it's like a big loop. It's so
yeah. So you're
bad.
kind of doing the
It's
same
so
sort of
fun
thing.
though. Like once you get sick of it, you just turn it on in. And then half the time they have tags on it.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is like a treasure hunt. Why wouldn't anyone want to do this? So that's funny. Yeah, I'll have to look
yeah,
into that for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
That's a
It's
today task for sure.
exactly. It's a rotation. I just go in and I get new clothes all the time, and then I just return the other
Oh
one.
my gosh, yeah, go first. Love that. Thank you.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have to go thrift shopping in Encinitas since I'm up here,
Oh,
and
oh yeah. You know it's bad when they're like, "Oh yeah, you're a regular. What's your name again?" I'm like, Heather."
they know you.
It's like, "I know I see you all the time." I'm like, "I know, I know." But
Yeah,
it's fun. And it's not, you already have it, so it's not a huge outflow. I mean, I think one of
yeah.
them I have to pay tax, but it's like, it doesn't, I mean, and I took in so many things. I had such a huge credit
Oh my
that it's
gosh,
it's great. I love it.
that's
And
so
one of them
amazing.
sells furniture. One of the ones I go to sells furniture. So I
What?
got these old like
Okay.
50s nightstands and I got them for such a deal. And I'm like, I don't know, thrifting and I,
Okay, we're so doing that. We're gonna
maybe
have a trip.
can win
We need a
totally.
trip.
It'll be fun.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I
it's
love it. I
fun.
love
It's
it. Love
totally
it.
fun.
Yeah, and then even the like the consignment stores for the furniture and the stores for furniture. We should do a shopping trip with the membership,
Oh my gosh, I would love it. Oh, for sure. Oh,
right?
there's 2 down here. Okay, 2
Okay.
down here. And it's so funny because one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I think people get turned off. Like I have clients that are like, absolutely not. And most of them really are a little bit hesitant to get into that, used world, or I don't know where it's been or whatever.
Yeah,
But some of the stuff, I mean, ranging from terracotta pots, I've got my eye on right now, to lighting, to, I mean, you name it. There's so many things that are really well made, okay? Because back in the day, they made it a little bit better than now.
absolutely. Yeah.
And interesting and different, right? It's really cool, but you have to take the time
Yeah, and it's a total treasure.
to
So it's like you have to,
totally.
and you'll get something that nobody else has. And it's just so, there's something about it that's just so special. It has this energy about it from the past, and
Yeah,
it's really cool.
yeah. It's fun. It's like Easter egg hunt or a treasure hunt or something, and you find it, and you're like, yeah, I love it. It's bad. It's
Okay,
bad
that's what we're
because I
doing.
spend a lot of time like, and I'm like, I don't need that. Do I need that? Gnome, that outdoor gnome in my garden? No, but oh, it's cute, so I'll get it. I don't really have that garden gnome, but yeah, I will. I'll find stuff I don't
Yeah,
need, and it's such a good deal. Like that's my
I
justification,
know.
but it's such a good deal. So
I know. But that's one good thing about this business is, being able to shop and get sort of that shopping, bug out because we're shopping
yeah,
for other people, and so that's really
yeah,
cool.
with their money, which is so
Yeah.
much more fun.
It's like,
Totally.
okay, this feels good.
Yeah, that'll
um,
work. Okay.
yeah, that's fantastic. So I do want to go into the home space with you and ask, what is home for you right now? I know your daughter just left college or left for college, so that must be a huge transition and change. And but yeah, so what is it looking like for you at the moment?
I'm really in a creative space right now. So, I would consider myself more of a creative based designer. I know that some people are more business oriented. I'm more of a creative. So I'm doing a lot of painting in my home right now. I set up a little studio that I go outside. I do abstracts. Um,
So
and just
cool.
lots of I'm kind of getting into more of a feminine space with, you know, I'm cooking a lot. I have a lot of plants around. The light, I'm definitely sensitive to seasons and the light. So since we have
Mm.
longer days now, I notice that I have a little bit more of an elevated mood. So I'm just trying to bring in a little more light, more, mirrors and things like that to kind of capture the light and just kind of getting a little more playful. I've ordered a couple counter stools that are a little beachy, kind of getting into the season.
Yeah.
Um, but mostly just really have been really creative, really just journaling a lot, getting kind of in touch with more of this feminine side of me, I guess.
Mm.
Um, and just kind of creating and nurturing and making sure that, you know, the space is conducive to that and to just let my creative juices flow, for lack of a better term, but that's kind of it, right? I'm just all, it's weird. It's like my daughter left and I'm just painting and doing all this crazy stuff. So it's
Wow.
good. Yeah.
That's so cool. So in your painting, are you introducing those to clients or are they mostly for you?
Okay, so this is tricky. And this is one of those things where people, it's weird how you have misconceptions of people because people are like, oh my gosh, she's so outspoken and she's so, gregarious and she's so friendly. But I'm really intimidated by introducing my pieces. But I've had people
Oh,
buy them and I've had
yeah.
people see them and offer to buy them. So I have a ton. And a friend of mine is like, just put them on. So I do have a little side account and I've only put one on there. And that one
Okay.
actually was sold.
Oh my
But
gosh.
and I have so many, Rachel, it's so bad, and I'm, like, slowly trying to get into it.
Introducing them.
So, my goal this summer is to do it, because I mean, it's ridiculous how much and people love them. I mean, not love them, but they
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
obnoxious to say, like, people love it. It's not like that. It's like, but people are, like, "Well, we
They're
want one, or can you
interested.
make one for me?" And it's really weird. It's like I've got this block
Wow.
because it's so personal.
It's so
So it's
personal.
it's so personal. So, with design, it's like that's like a collaboration. It's like you and I, if you and I were working together, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a collab between the two of us. So I can bring in my personal opinions and that's a collaboration. So that's really
Right.
cool.
Right.
But when it's just me, it's like, like it's so weird. It's
It's a
really
piece of
weird. I don't
you.
know. Yeah, it's a piece of me, right? And a lot of them are tied to emotions or people or memories or experiences. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
kind of like, okay, I feel kind of naked here
Exposed.
with
Yeah.
raw emotion. And so don't judge me.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Yeah.
weird. And my daughters are like, Mom, if you're going on social media, like you're gonna get judged. And I'm like, no, why? So, but yeah, so
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. So
yeah,
yeah, so you need to
yes.
have a little art show.
I know, I know. I've been told that as well. And I have a couple artist friends that are like, what are you worried about? And it's
Yeah,
just a block,
I
and
know.
it's frustrating because I know what it is. And so I'm
Yeah,
just going to do it,
yeah,
just do it and be nervous. And you know what? Whatever.
it'll
That's
be
kind of
good.
what I've been telling myself. And it's funny because I have been having that conversation with me the last couple of days. Like, just go do it because you're painting so much. Like, and you
Yeah,
don't have room to keep all these
yeah,
canvas. So
exactly. You
get it
need to do
out
something.
there. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
It's gonna
So yeah.
outgrow. That's so cool. So I want to hear your origin story. I want to know how you got into design and what all of that looks like.
Okay. So this is interesting because I have a tendency to do things not the normal way,
Okay.
as you know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this was um back in like 2000, early 2000s or mid 2000s, right?
Hmm.
And I was working in pharmaceuticals. Okay, I was working for
Okay.
a drug company selling drugs. Like, I was the girl that would like pull, the
The
suitcase
little
to the
suitcase.
counter. I was one of those, right? And I had a couple people. I lived in a little community, and I had a
Okay.
couple people who would come to the house, and they're like, "We're going to take your ideas. Like, we love what you've done. This is so good." And I had taken a couple design classes, but I didn't go to school for design.
Got
Okay.
it. I didn't know that.
And so I had taken some and before I'd worked for this pharmaceutical company, I did work for a furniture company for 3 or 4 years. So I learned all about like
Oh yeah.
construction and space planning. And so I had that already. And I was kind of a mentor to the person that did all the model homes. And then I got promoted, and it was really fun. I was in Beverly Hills, and I was working with famous people and doing
Oh
their
my
homes. And
gosh.
it was really cool. But I worked for a company that was a really, really high end. They did retail, but they also did rental.
Okay.
So I would go meet all these famous people. And I'm not like a super starstruck person, but it is kind of cool when you're,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
in your 20s, like, oh my gosh, I met this person. And I'd always downplay it. Like they could be
Yeah.
so famous. And I'd be like, hey, like totally like,
It's so
yeah,
funny.
well, I'm Heather. So, so whatever. Um, but so I had that foundation, and then we were purchased by a national company, and it wasn't a good fit.
Mm,
But anyway, so I went to the pharmaceutical company, and then we moved down to Orange County, and these people were coming to my house and like, can you help me? I was getting the requests.
yeah.
And so I did my daughter's nursery. Okay. And I was like, okay, I'm going to send this into a local magazine that features interior designers.
Yeah.
And if God wants me to do this job, and if all these people are just saying this stuff, this is like a sign,
Right,
because
right.
I follow my gut with a lot of signs, right?
Yeah.
And so sure enough, what happened? Like she published it. She's like, do you have more? And it was so funny because it was kind of like fake it till you make it a little
Yeah.
bit, because I did our nursery, and then they asked me for more content.
Oh my goodness.
And
So
so
what'd you do?
this thing I told my husband at the time, right? I was
Yeah.
like, hey, I need to do the guest bedroom. He's like, what? And so what? I said, I need to do the guest bedroom because, they already printed my daughter's
Yeah.
nursery. I can't do the same thing. And it was funny, Rachel, because the same photographer came back and he's like, what's going on here? I go, what? I didn't say
It's
that it wasn't
a different
someone
house.
else's house. It wasn't my house. Like, so what? It's
Yeah.
a different room. So anyway, I started getting business that way. And this was before really the internet was really taking off. So
Oh, yeah.
people really had to really investigate, because this wasn't an ad. So
Yeah.
they didn't print my phone number or my content or my
Oh, wow.
contact info. It was just, and so I started with baby nurseries, and then it kind of spun off, and then people would have me do their house, and et cetera,
You
et
just
cetera.
kept building from there.
Yeah, I kept building from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was all just, a risk. Like,
Yeah.
my paintings, just, okay, well, I'll just do
Do it.
it. Because it'll bug me so bad if I'm 105
Oh,
on my
yeah.
deathbed. And I'm like, why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
And that was part of the thing, right? It was like, why didn't I try and start my own business? Why? What a
Yeah.
waste. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how it happened.
Oh my
And then the
God.
company, the only little tricky part about this was that the pharmaceutical company found out, right?
So what
But
happened?
at that time, we had a quota. We had quotas just with the amount of people that we saw, and we had
Okay.
quotas on numbers. So I would still I knew what I was doing with that. I had to hit my
Right.
quota. And I had called HR because I caught when one of the managers wasn't super stoked that I was doing this. So I called HR and I said, if I have like a photography business or something like that, I use photography on the
Yeah.
side, and it's not, impacting my goals,
Right.
is that okay? And they're like, well, yeah, if it's not a direct competitor, sure.
Right. Right.
So I was kind of,
Tiptoeing around.
I was still responsible with, the pharma company. But then I was, moonlighting on the side and on the weekends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, what happened was I ended up doing better financially with my design business.
Got it. And that's when you jumped. You did it after
Yeah.
your design business was making
did.
more than your okay.
I did, and I liked it better. I like it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was definitely, that was an interesting time. I was like hurrying and getting my job done. And I had a partner that worked with me, and she and I are friends, and she knew what I was doing, and she
Oh,
was
yeah.
all for it. She's like, God, what can I do? So
That's
yeah,
so
I had
rad.
some support there.
That's amazing. And that was over 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So cool. You
I
love
know, it's
it.
really cool. Really cool. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And before we started recording, we were talking about like some misconceptions of the design world. And I just thought that was such a beautiful topic to kind of go into, especially for the aspiring designers that are listening today. And, learning from your story. And part of, what we're doing and sharing our knowledge is sharing like the stuff that people don't talk about. And So I would love to kind of dive into those misconceptions. What are like maybe the top misconceptions that you've noticed, and you've had people also come up to you and ask for mentorship or to pick
Oh,
your
for
brain a little
sure.
bit or to ask about
Yeah.
the business?
I just had someone actually last week ask me. I've had two people last week ask me that. And so my response was absolutely, but I'm not a textbook. I don't follow the textbook plan with
Yeah.
how I got into the industry, how I do business, and things like that. So I guess one of the misconceptions to anyone that's aspiring to do this job is that you don't have to do it like everybody else is doing it or like you think everybody else is doing it.
Mm,
You don't. You figure out how you work. Like my workflow is spurts. Super creative energy, super passionate, and then I have to be quiet for,
mhm.
maybe a half a day or a day. Like I am not a 9 to 5 girl at all. It doesn't work and it'll suck it out of me. So that
Yeah.
would be the first thing. The second thing is that in terms of doing it the way everybody else does, is that you can't do it on your own. You can't just start on your own. Yes, you can. Start small. Do a
Yeah.
little teeny. I started with nurseries. Start with pillows. I don't care what it is. But
Yeah.
if you are not a work for someone, work for big corporations or 9 to 5 kind of person, then don't be that person. Be who you are because you're
Mhm.
going to give a better product if you're authentic to yourself. You are. And so I think that's a misconception that there's a certain way to do things. Um,
Absolutely.
and I think sometimes when people don't feel like they can perform that way or do those things, at least for me, I used to get down on myself. Like,
Yeah.
why is she so organized? Okay, I'm not the most organized person. So I have an assistant who's the most organized person I've ever met in my life. And I love
Exactly.
her so much because she has strengths I don't have.
Right.
But I used to get really upset that I couldn't pull it off. Like, what is
Mhm.
wrong with you? All this getting mad at myself and feeling down. And I think you just need to surrender and be like, that's not me. But you know what? If you want flowers for your party or you want someone to do this or that for you, call me right now. Like
Yeah.
all the girls' plays and when they were growing up, who were we going to call for set design? Oh, Heather, no problem. I mean, and it was the most elaborate stuff you've ever seen in your life.
Oh
Like
my gosh.
electrical, glitter, you name it. Like I did a Wizard of Oz Emerald City that I would send to Broadway, I
What?
swear. Yeah, it's serious, right? So I think you have to know your strengths. And if you have to do it in an approach that perhaps is different than all the books you read or how someone else has done it, that's okay. It's
Mhm.
okay. It's
Mhm.
that would be the first one. And then another one which you and I were talking about is this idea that our job, and this is the quote. I've heard this quote so many times.
Yes. Yes. Say it
Your job
again
must be
because
so
this is so
fun.
true.
Oh, I would love your job. You get to shop all day. And it's so not true. It's so not true. So you get to shop, I'm estimating 20 to 25% of the time. And
Yeah.
that's not like just going out. That's online shopping. That's,
Yeah.
meeting your vendors. I love the girls down at RC. I go down there. I love going there.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
go there and shop quite often. Um, but that's only one side of it. You've got another whole side of it, which is putting out fires in terms of claims, especially now with lead times.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think people don't understand that with, for example, because I sell furniture too. I do a lot of furnishings. So
Yeah.
I'll design it and then I'll furnish it. And I'm with the furnishings, especially right now, upholstery, for example. It's made in America. What's the problem? I don't understand why this is taking so long. It's made in America. You told me why it takes so long. Yes, the piece is made in America, but the butterfly, hinge that they need for the leg, for example, is made in China and we can't get it. So a piece this big is
Yeah. It's
holding up
holding
your
everything.
order, holding everything up. So you have to know how to backtrack and figure out a way to prepare the client. Like you have to put out the fire there. And then the third thing is that you have to know some sort of sales. You have to
Absolutely.
figure out sales is part of your business. It is, and you could be the most amazing designer in the whole entire world, but unless you know how to convey your message and your vision to that client, they're not buying.
Mm-mm.
And so you don't get the job done. So you have to know sales, you have to know your clients, kind of what they want. I do all of my meetings and things energetically. It's very rare
Yeah.
that I pull out a portfolio. I don't remember the last time I pulled out a portfolio,
You mean to
which
like
is
get a
again
job, right?
to get a job. I
Yeah.
mean, it's probably been 15 years, and
Yeah.
that's so unorthodox again, but I just get a feel and then I'll give a synopsis of where I think it's going to go on email.
Hmm.
Here's what I see, and I'll describe it in words. I don't give anything up front. And clients that I've worked with, I get a lot of repeat business. Uh, it just flows that way for me because the way that the clients and I work together, that's the way it's been. I understand what they want and I know how to do sales.
Yeah.
Probably because of my pharma background or whatever. But if you've ever worked in retail, I've worked at department stores and
Of
college
course.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like it's that also parlays into it because if you've been in a service industry, this is a service business. You
Absolutely.
can be really
Absolutely.
talented, but we are service people. We're here to give a service. And that isn't just the design. We're not giving a product, we're giving a service
Hmm.
with a product, right?
Hmm.
People need to know that. Like you could be really, really cool and talented, but if you're dropping the ball, you can't perform, you're
Absolutely.
not gonna do a good job. You're just not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just talking about
Yeah.
that, I was in the retail business for, over 10 years before I went off on my own.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
dog eat dog there, Rachel. Oh my
it is
gosh.
like,
What did you do?
well, my first job ever was Sears in the home department, of course.
Okay.
I was only there for like maybe a year. And then I was working for an insurance company. So I was taking
Okay.
insurance claims. And then while I was in design, and then once I got out of design school, I was working for a designer in a showroom in Escondido. It was
Okay.
a retail space. It was all
Okay.
like traditional, very high-end traditional furniture. And
Okay.
then I worked at Ethan Allen for a year.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then I was at Mixture. Do you remember Mixture in Little Italy?
Yes.
It's, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I was there for almost 4 years.
Okay.
And so I was on the floor selling beautiful
Yeah.
furniture, art. I was doing interior design for them.
Cool.
So
Very
it was like, that grind of like selling to the public, being in
yeah.
that space of service, and then also offering design. And it was like all those years of learning how they ran their business, running the business, like all of that was just, pumping me up for when it was time to
Totally.
go off on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. That is something that if people can do any retail or just any face to face and they can take little bits of knowledge. Because again, I was at the furniture company and I did that, but I also sold, dresses. There was a department store called Robinson's May.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember
I was
Robinson's
and
May.
like and it was so perfect because it's so bad to admit for whatever I don't care. So, when you work retail with clothes, when
Yeah.
the sales are going to happen, right? And
Absolutely.
plus
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
your discount. And I
Yep.
was in like the designer, like sportswear and dress department. So if I knew that something came in, you just kind of put it in the back.
Put it away.
Put it away, on the rack. And we all did it. But I
You had a
was
little
like, this is
cubby.
probably where my clothes habit came in because I'm like, sweet, okay, that's mine and that's mine. I don't think I ever took home a paycheck, but I looked good.
You worked for clothes.
I did. I worked for clothes. So that would be another recommendation. It's just understand that, it's service and it's a whole pie. It's not just the little
Mhm.
design part of the pie.
Mhm. Yeah, and also just being able to connect with people, emotionally and our personalities, right? So it's like we have to click, we
Yeah.
have to have that. And I think that also helps with the selling because you understand who they are and you just want, their best for them. And
Yeah, and it's interesting because I have found that there's certain types of people that hire me. Like I definitely get a lot of people that are into energies, and this is another
yeah,
thing that's kind of ridiculous. But when we collaborate and we get things going, there's a certain moment where I know that we've hit it. Like we've hit what we're going to do, the design, how it's going to proceed. And this is so embarrassing, but I will get my hair standing up on end. Did I tell you this when I
no,
saw you that?
I love that.
And I'll show the client.
You're
I'll be
like,
like,
look.
oh my gosh, that's it. And the client's that it's like, this is insane. Why is this woman showing me her arm hair? like standing on end, but they love it. They're like, yes. And
Ah,
one of my clients that I'm working with now, she's like, Heather, she goes, it's so interesting watching you. Cause they've worked with me about 3 times.
yeah.
And she said, once it hits, you get this like, you're like your whole body and energy just goes, bing, and you get this light around you and this passion. And you're like, that's it. And she said, it's beautiful to watch.
Oh,
So
that's
I
so
get
cool.
those energy kind of people. So we kind of flow off each other. I don't remember the last time I had someone that wasn't like that. So, which
Oh,
is cool because we feed into each other, it's
mhm.
cool.
Oh, that's so I love that they are connecting with you in that space, and
Yeah,
then it's like, yeah, it's that aha moment. It's that, like, the lightning has struck, and you're like, "This is
totally.
it."
But I'm wondering why I think it's okay to show someone my arm hair on head. Like, look, I got goosebumps. Hey, I'm not 10 years old. Like, what am I doing?
No, but it's like
But it works.
that's your affirmation. It's like,
Yeah,
"This is
it's
how
an
I know.
affirmation
This is how I
for
know
sure.
this that we're on track," and you wanna share it with them,
Totally. Yeah,
and you
yeah,
feel open,
absolutely.
right? And
Yeah,
yeah, because you guys are
yeah. If I
connected.
don't feel open, you have to feel connected. And there are some times. I mean, it hasn't been a perfect run for 18 years, right? And
Yeah.
you can probably attest to this.
Yeah.
Like you have clients that you're like, oh, I don't know. If and more advice, if you cannot take those clients, like if
Absolutely.
you are at
Absolutely.
financially at a place where you don't have to. I mean, there was times earlier on where I'd be like, but I need the money. Okay, when
Mhm.
you say but I need the money, anytime you get a but in there,
That's a red flag.
pay attention. Pay attention. And anything in life, okay, if you get a need a but. Okay, the but is a magical word. Like pay attention. So yeah, that's something that if you don't feel the vibe going well, then really consider rethinking it, or because it's just a precursor of not good.
Mhm. Yeah, it just from there, it gets even
Mhm.
worse. It's
Totally.
like,
Yeah, absolutely.
what are you working on right now? I'm curious as to what's
Oh,
happening and where you're going.
so I think when we were in Napa, we talked about how I was doing a vacation home in wine country.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. And
So
and
they
this trip was back in August, the end of August,
that was
beginning of
back in
September.
August. So
Yeah.
between all the delays and all of this stuff, they finally started the last 2 months. They're tearing it down, and I was supposed to go up in January, but I got, that thing that
Oh, yeah.
everybody's been having lately. So I couldn't do that. But now it's kind of in its full force and we're in it. So that's up in Healdsburg. That's really fun. I'm going up
Oh
this
my
month.
gosh. And what's the
That is
scope
the
of all of
best.
that?
It's a 1927 French country home, really close to downtown Healdsburg, and we're tearing up the whole thing. I mean, we're
Oh my
keeping the
gosh.
bones, but
Okay.
remodeling the kitchen, 5 bathrooms, pulling out a couple walls, fireplaces, flooring, furnishings, everything. So, I think we're gonna slide in a couple windows and doors,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
no, not necessarily expanding it, but just remodeling the inside. We're making a bedroom bigger, making a couple bathrooms bigger, master bath bigger,
So
and then
amazing.
I had a couple of local things, like a little remodel in La Costa, some stuff going on in Fairbanks Ranch, um, and I think that's about it. I'm missing one, and I can't remember what it is. I'll think of it in a minute.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah, just perfect, nice workflow. Nothing
That's
too
amazing.
crazy. I have an amazing person that helps me kind of control the maintenance and things like that. Oh, Newport. I have something going on in a
Mm.
Big Canyon.
Wow.
So that's kind of fun. And she's a client that I had a long time ago. It's weird. Another thing, it's how this
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
You'll forget about someone and 10 years later they're like, "Hey, hi, remember me?" And you're like, "Oh my gosh, yeah." So you never know when it's going to come up. It's
Oh,
interesting.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny because one of our clients, she f I worked with her for just a teeny bit as I was leaving Ethan Allen, which was back in I think I left there in '07, the middle of '07, and so I shared her with, Carl, who was working there, which you met,
Oh,
And so,
Carl was with
yeah,
you
Carl,
there?
that was at
Oh
Ethan
my
Allen. That's how we
gosh, I
met.
love
Yeah.
that. So you guys were like collaborating in the,
Back in the
workroom.
day.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, so that
That's
was in
so
oh
cool.
06, oh 07, and
Yeah.
yeah, so she came in, I was helping her for a little bit, I'm like, "Actually, I'm leaving, but I'm gonna hand you off to Carl," and so Carl took her on, and she went back to Ethan, and Carl was there forever, and then, it was it 2020, I think 2020, 2021. Anyway, she was looking for Carl. She went back to Ethan Allen looking for him, couldn't find him. She ended up finding him and I together as our business. And she reached
Oh,
out. She's like, "Hey, I
cute.
don't know if you remember me." And so we like did her space in Coronado. And
Oh,
so it was just
so
like
cool. Don't you love
coming
that? I
back.
know, right? See, you never know like how you're gonna make an impression and how long it lasts. Yeah, that's cool. That's really
Yeah,
cool. It's meant to be.
exactly. So it
Oh,
was just funny how all that like came back. And then Carl and I didn't
yeah.
get together until it was 12 years after that. After we had met, it was in 18
I know
that we
you. I
got
know. I
together.
remember this. I remember because
Yeah.
you had started and you kind of talked to him, or
Mhm.
what was? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's right.
so I went off on my own in August of 2014, and then the beginning of 2018, Carl came to me and was like, "Okay, I'm ready to like go off on my own. Can I pick your brain? Like, can I talk to you about how do you run the business? Like, I've never run a business. I don't know, all those things. How do you set up accounts? How do you do your taxes? Like all those
Yeah, yeah.
items." And I was like,
Which
"Yeah,
is
of
so
course."
fun. Yeah,
Yeah, so fun.
yeah. That's such a good time. That's so my skill set. Yeah, no.
And that's
Higher
where the
people.
majority of this business is. It's running all that. But if you can get somebody to help
Totally.
you, that's,
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
obviously
That's the key.
a big thing. So yeah, so we
Yeah.
met up and we talked, and then at the end of the conversation, he's like, "Well, actually, do you want to just go into business together?" And I was like,
Oh my
"Okay." Like I didn't
gosh,
even think about
I
it.
love that. That's so
Just like,
cool.
"Okay." So then we
Oh
went
yeah,
and
sure.
did it.
Jump on in. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Aw.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
how we
cute.
got together. So
I love that.
good.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So are you I know we spoke a little bit about your morning ritual of slowing down and having coffee and taking a moment to get into your space. Do you have any other rituals or practices that you're enjoying right now to keep you grounded, or maybe something in the evening or
I do. I try and stage the house like once every couple
Mm,
weeks to just kind of clear the energy. And I actually, when I can, and I, this is out there, but I listen
yeah.
to the binaural beats.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, I
So
love those. They're fantastic.
okay, it's and then you're like, have fun in a different astral plane because so my favorite is 432 hertz, right?
Oh,
So I
yeah. And that's the
will
heart chakra, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Right. So, and I've tried other ones, and you literally will go into a different zone. And the more that you do it, the better
Mhm.
it gets. And so I'll do it at night. And then sometimes if I go to the gym, they have a sauna.
Oh,
It's like an
yeah.
infrared sauna. It's like such a fabulous situation. I'll just sit in the sauna, and it's not like a steam sauna. It's just a dry sauna.
Okay.
So I'll put my binaural beats in, and and you really are just it just relaxes you to such a
Yeah.
point. And that particular scale, that hertz, is tied to like Tesla and all these other people, that it's
Mhm.
supposedly, and I don't know too much about it, but it's like a universal vibration.
Yeah.
And so I love that. I will definitely do that. I'll put my pods in and just go into the stratosphere. Who knows where I am,
Yeah.
but it's
Oh,
lovely. So I try
beautiful.
and do that at least 3 or 4 times a week. If I can do it every day, I will. I think as creatives, if you're I think creatives run really fast. I think that
Mhm.
there's constant input. I mean, I have one client who it'll go so fast I can't get all my words out. And so he's
Right.
sweet. He's really sweet. It's a couple, and he'll say things like, he'll remind me to use pronouns. Because I'll say things like, wait, we can put it over there and be right next to that and be so cute. And he's like, Heather, next to the
And we're cute.
okay, yeah, yeah, next to the floor. Like, what are you talking about? But we go so fast with constant, input and constant ideas, that I use my hands and things like that to get the thoughts out. And so I think with hertz, it just slows you down so that you can get centered again. And then it's kind of like fuel, right? And it'll
Yeah.
feed
Yeah.
back into you so you can recharge because as I mentioned earlier, I'll get depleted. If I give out too much, I
Oh,
love
and
it.
yeah,
But if I give
absolutely.
out too much, I'll get depleted and I won't get what I want and neither do you.
Yeah.
So that if you can get into that, I've recommended that to a lot of people and it doesn't come right off the bat, but if you can listen to it for a couple times, a couple nights, or maybe a week, you'll find that it's pretty transformative. It really is.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And that just reminded me of actually you can have it on in your home, just running.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
then it just creates that vibration in your home and coming
Yeah.
into that space. And it's just like, oh, and then your pets and, everyone else that's
Yeah.
in the space is
Your
like in
plants.
the plants.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. And it just raises the vibration. I know that's kind of a really popular term, but it's true. I'll just tell
Yeah.
everybody right now. It's totally true. So no
Yeah.
need to
I'm just going to be,
investigate anymore on your own. Like I'm telling you, it's true.
absolutely. Yeah. Heather says it. It has to be true. Like you don't need to.
It's true, guys. Just no need to look anymore. It's true.
So you're gonna have to share
But
with me your source for that, and I'll put it in the show notes so that people can dive in
oh
and
yes. So I just go to Spotify. And it's weird because I found that I was also listening to this one's out there.
okay, let's hear
Yeah, I can't even believe I'm gonna
it.
tell
Let's
you
hear it.
this.
I want to hear it.
I was listening to the didgeridoo, like
Oh
the
yeah,
Aboriginal music, the
yeah,
and it's like this repetitive, like the didgeridoo, and I would go into like this mindset of just really relaxing and transformative. And I have a friend of mine. He's like, "Okay, make sure you come back because I'll go play up in that world because it's fun, right? It's relaxing
yeah,
and cool."
yeah.
So I found out that actually has, the beats in it. It's the same kind of
Okay.
thing. And I also think that certain people, and this to your point might resonate, you're talking about the heart chakra. I think it's probably the chakra that needs a little nurturing that
Hmm.
will match up to your preferred
Absolutely, absolutely.
scale. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
interesting. I didn't think about that. I'm gonna have to
yeah.
look into that. That's good. I love that.
Yeah, and it will
Yeah,
change.
that's
So
cool.
I would just let your intuition let you like guide you, right? And so a lot of
Yeah.
times, like when I will do a sound bath for people, they'll come up and be like, I had this one guy come up and he had never had a sound bath before. And he's like, I don't know if this is it's normal. Like when you're playing this one bowl, like that's all I could hear. Even when you were doing all the other ones, I just felt it in one space. And I was like, that's gold because then that's your body like
Yeah.
helping you understand which piece needs that
Yeah.
attention.
I want to sound back. I want one.
Yeah,
I'm talking
come
about yeah,
over.
I totally do. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do the
yeah.
bowl. So that is amazing too. I had that done maybe 10 years ago in Arizona, and that's yeah,
Yeah.
vibration. It's okay, totally. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So what I'll do is I do sound baths at 12 Senses Retreat here in Encinitas. And
Okay.
the guests will book a sound bath and I'll either do it for like all of them or I'll do private sound baths. Um, and then we'll do like a moon circle with the sound bath. But I also come to homes and we'll do like a clearing or we can
And you're close
do
to
a
me,
sound bath
so
if
see,
someone's, I
see.
know,
Oh,
we
you're
can
pretty close.
play.
I might just walk on down from my sound bath. That's really cool. But that's I think if you tap into that, if you understand the power of all of that, that's really really helpful too. So that's cool that
Mhm,
you do that. I did not know
mhm.
that. That's pretty awesome. And to
Yeah.
answer your question, I just listened to the Hertz on Spotify.
Oh, okay. But do you have a playlist that you listen to in particular or is there a
I
certain
do. Yeah.
album?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Well, share
Yeah.
that with me and I'll share it with everybody if you're cool with it. Yeah.
I absolutely. So yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
See. And then how can people find you? How can we check out your work and connect with you?
You can check out my work on probably Instagram is the best way
Yeah.
to do it.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to photograph a big project that we just did in Del Mar Mesa. So I'll be putting those on, and I'm trying to get a little bit better to put stuff on, but I'm super particular
Yeah,
about
of
what I
course.
put on there So I like to have it professionally photographed, and people are like, "Okay, but just put it on." I'm like,
I don't know about that.
I'm waiting for that to get done. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So I'm waiting for those to get done, and you can kind of see, eye roll on there. So it's that's probably the
amazing.
best way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And we'll have your Instagram and your website in the show notes as well for those to check
Perfect.
out. And then, of course, you'll be
Awesome.
back for the membership panel. We're going to have you and two others on,
Fun.
which is going to be so exciting, and to be able to
I
pick your
know.
brain a
I'm so
bit.
excited. Oh
And we'll
gosh.
we'll dive
Okay.
in deeper,
Get
and
ready
get
to pick my brain. Who knows what's gonna come out? But yeah,
all
I'm
good
looking forward
stuff.
to it.
It's
I'm
all
really
good
excited.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. It's good.
And I love your
Oh,
perspective of not like going to design school and being able to be so successful and fruitful and abundant in your
anything.
work.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything that I have done that I've been nervous about or afraid of, but still did it, is the most rewarding. And so
Good.
anyone who's thinking about it or nervous or I can't or I don't have time, just do it. Just do it anyway. And if you screw up, it'll go into something else. Maybe
Yeah.
you don't do this, but maybe you manufacture something or you do something different. But anytime you're afraid of something and you still do it because you want to and you just go do it anyway, it's the most rewarding. It is. And
Absolutely.
so
And
I wanted to and I just did.
I'm gonna flip the mirror on you and say that to your paintings.
I know. I know. And you know what's so beautiful about that? Because there's a little ego involvement in this too. Now that I just announced this to you and all of your followers, which
Now we
you have a
know.
pretty large following. Now I'm like, shoot, I have to. I have no choice. It's at the point of no return. So
Yep.
okay, all right. My
Yeah.
face is
You
bright red, right?
you've
I'm
jumped
like,
off
I
the
have
cliff.
to do this now. So I did. I just jumped off a cliff. Oh, Rachel, you
So
mink.
good.
Now I
So
have to. Okay.
good.
All right.
So good.
Well,
Well,
thank you.
thank you. Yes, and I'm so excited
Thanks
to
so much.
You're so cute.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll do it. I'll do it in the
Yeah.
next couple weeks.
Okay. And I'm gonna check in with you.
I know you
See how
will.
it's going.
I know. I
I'll
know.
be
I
your
know. Okay.
accountability partner,
I know. I know. Oh my gosh. Well,
whether or
thank
not you
you.
like it, of course.
I know
And thank
it's
you
good.
so
It's good. It's
much.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's so
thank you
fun.
for
Thank you.
coming on. I loved
Sure.
having you here. So fun to reconnect.
It's so
And
good. I know. I'll be calling you for that sound out too. So
okay, yeah, that'd
yeah.
be fantastic.
Thanks.
You've been listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business podcast. If it's one that you have been enjoying, please share with anyone else that you think can benefit from this knowledge, and leave us a 5-star review that helps us get seen and found by other new and aspiring interior designers. And if you're looking for mentorship, I invite you to join our club here at the Design Coven. It's a bridge between school and real life interior design. We get in much deeper there. We have virtual and in-person events, so everyone is welcome. You don't need to have a design degree to be part of it, just an interest in holistic interior design. I also want to thank our editor, Marcy Ferry, and lastly, Kinseth Thibodeau, who is our music composer. Until next time, be well, and we will see each other soon.